Hey, welcome to Tech Stocks and Beer, where we grab a cold one and talk about making some money and retiring rich. Today, I get asked the question I get asked a lot is 401k, IRA, Roth IRA, HSA, FSA, 529 college savings plans, taxable accounts. Where do I put my money first? I don't know. So today, I'm going to tackle that question and tell you the order I make my personal investments in and try to maximize the utility of my money throughout the course of life. So if that interests you, continue watching on, grab a cold one, and kick back and enjoy. First, I wouldn't call this financial advice. Even though I'm a CPA and a CFA charter holder and know what I'm talking about, each individual situation is going to be different, it's going to be unique, and I can't hit all the nuances and personal things. It would take millions of hours to do that. So if you're still unsure about anything, please contact a financial advisor, because you don't want to screw up any of these, because then you can get penalized heavily and lose the advantages and then some in investing in these retirement or tax deferred accounts. And I would hate to see that. All right, now on to the actual advice. So first things first, you should definitely have an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses just in case something unforeseen happens. I mean, God forbid, you have an accident or you lose your job, which is a real concern right now with the economy as it is. You don't have to worry about that. 3 to 6 months lets you sleep well at night and take some risks, and that's definitely something I recommend everybody have before you start saving a lot of money for your retirement. And plus, if you don't have the discipline to save, even 3 months of expenses, I mean, what is that? If you're, I don't know, mine probably $2,000-3,000 a month. I do nice things, but it's not that much. It's like $10,000. If you don't have enough discipline to save $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, you're not going to be a good investor anyways. So get that discipline figured out, get that emergency fund, and then we can talk about how to set up your retirement accounts. Now, as you set up that emergency reserve fund, if you have that 401k at your job, I would recommend putting in as much as the match that you get. So if your employer matches 100% of the first 3% of your salary you put in, so let's say you make $100,000, you're putting in $3,000, they'll match $3,000 a year. Highly recommend doing that on the way to saving that emergency fund, but definitely no more than that amount. And hang on. Oh man, so good. It's a triple hazy IPA, Bro Science from Little Beaver Brewery. Super good beer, highly recommend it to anyone down there in the Illinois area. What city is that from? Can we find that here? Bloomington, Illinois, that's where it was. Sorry, Bloomington, forgot. Stopped at a couple breweries in my drive through, so my bad. Anyways, so while you're getting that emergency fund up, put in that 401k contribution match, and then do the emergency fund before doing anything else. And sometimes these employer things are a little tricky. Sometimes they match 50% of your contributions up to 6% of your salary. So in that case, you'd say you're making that $100,000 again. You want to put in $6,000 a year, and then your employer will kick in an extra $3,000. Like, you want to hit that match. It's free money. Why would you give that up? But you want to get that emergency fund too. And actually, before I put any more money in the 401k, I would go and max out some other things first. And what would that be? Like, the HSA would be the thing to do next. If you have a high deductible insurance plan, you have the option to be in a HSA to save money for medical expenses and to pay that deductible in a tax advantage manner. Now, the HSA it's really a gift from the government. I think this is one of the best things you can have, and because you can pay any medical expense out of there. I mean, you can get a whole book of things you can and can't do, but pretty much any legitimate medical expense you can pay tax-free. I mean, your plastic surgery probably not going to count unless you're a burn victim, but things like that. You get these little common sense. You can even buy your sunscreen with that, because it helps you avoid skin cancer. So things like that, the HSA is really, really good for, and you can use that money right away if you need it. So that's why I recommend filling that up first, because in the case of emergency, you want to have this HSA to pay for that the health emergency that you might have. So how much can you put in this HSA every year? For an individual, you can put in right now $3,550 a year. In 2020, it changes every year. As a family, you can put in $7,100, and if you were 50, you get that $1,000 a year catch up. So you have that amount to put in. So if you're over 50, you get $8,100 as a family. If you're under 50 as a family, you're only getting $7,100. But that's still A lot of money you can put in and a lot of money you can have to invest. And the best part about an HSA is if you don't use it, you can save it for the next year. So if you're a healthy person like me and you never see the doctor, you can keep putting this money in your HSA. And like right now, I think I have maybe like $20,000 or so in an HSA ready for any medical emergency that might come my way. And I love having that amount there and know it's there in case I need anything. And then we have the FSA, which is also a health savings account thing, but it's a flexible savings account. This one's a little trickier. You might have an FSA if you don't have an HSA, but with the FSA, the flexible spending account, if you don't spend it that year, you lose it. So you got to make sure you don't save any more in there than you're going to use that year, because if you do, gone, December 31st, see you later. See you never, because I don't know where it goes. It goes into the ether somewhere, but the money disappears. You can't use it. And generally, you cannot have an HSA and an FSA at the same time. There's a weird thing where you can, but I'm not going to get into that. Hopefully, your HR person will be able to guide you along those lines if you want to try to do that. And if you have any questions about the HSA or an FSA, definitely talk to your HR department or your benefits administrator about it and ask them any questions, because they should be able to answer you and help you out along this path. So after you hit your employer match in the 401k, you max out that HSA or FSA. Oh yeah, the FSA maximum you put in a year is $2,750 right now. Forgot to say that before, but that's the amount now. FSA $2,750, HSA $3,550. But so after you max out either one of those and you hit your 401k employer match, the next thing I would do is I would put money into my IRA. I would max that out next. And as an individual, that's $6,000 a year, or if you're over 50, it could be $7,000 to do that catch-up contribution that you get. But the reason why I would pick the IRA next before putting any more money into your 401k is generally an IRA has more investing options, because you open up a brokerage account and you can get money into any individual stock that you want to buy or any individual fund, whereas sometimes in a 401k you're very limited in the number of funds you have. So I like having that flexibility. It gives you more options. You don't have to buy these crappy mutual funds with high fees that your 401k has for you if you don't like them. And you can put it in those low-cost index funds I was talking about, or do your own investing strategy if you want, which I'll talk about in another video. So that's why I would do the IRA next. And if you're not sure, the traditional IRA or the Roth IRA, I have another video about the differences between the two, the one factor that matters, and how to make your decision. So watch that as well if you're not sure. And then after the IRA, I would then go back to max out that 401k. And the reason why is it's still a tax advantaged account, and it's something you want to do. And you get $19,000 a year. That's a lot of money. But I guess actually before that, I would even say, like, if you're saving for a house, you're gonna want to like save that money for a house in a taxable account, leave it in your savings account, or invest in very conservative investments first. So get that 20% down payment for your house if you want to do that, and then go and max out. But saving it for something big, then go to the 401k. But if there's no other big expenses you want to do, if we're just strictly talking about retirement, then you're going to want to go into your 401k after the IRA, and then you can max that out. Oh yeah, 401k contributions, $19,000 individual. If you're over 50, you can put in, let me make sure I get this right. Oh, it's $19,500 this year for a 401k contribution, $6,500 more if you're over the age of 50. And then after you take care of yourself in that 401k, then you can go into the 529 college plan, education plan for your kids. If you take it out sooner to pay for private schooling, you might want to even do that before maxing out your 401k. But generally, you want to take care of yourself first. Kind of like you're on an airplane. You want to be able to take care of yourself and then help your kid out and then suffocate, and you're not helping out any one of you guys. So it's kind of the same way here. You want to make sure you're set up for retirement. You want to make sure you're comfortable before helping out any of your kids or anyone else in a 529 college savings plan. But after that, you can get that maxed out. I think you put in like $2,000 a year. It's probably a little more right now into that plan for a kid and help save for college. Hopefully over the 18 years they're alive, you can invest in it. That's $2,000, $36,000 a year. I mean, it's not much, but it'll grow a little bit. Whatever, I'm rambling. That's last, and then you have your taxable account. You can invest in stuff there. And that'd be the last thing I would put in after all that stuff. If because it's taxable. You want to take care of these tax deferred plans first and then move on to things where you're going to be paying taxes on a year-to-year basis. And obviously there's exceptions to every rule. If you're going to buy and hold a stock like Berkshire and hold it forever and they don't pay a dividend, you're fine holding a taxable account because you're not going to get any taxes until you decide to sell, which is probably at retirement. So there you have it. Once again, you want to get your employer match in the 401k for the order of your retirement funding. Get the employer match 401k, then do your HSA or FSA, whichever one you're eligible for. Then do an IRA because it gives you more options in your 401k. Then go back, make sure you're saving up for anything you want to do, any big purchases. Then you can go into your 401k, get your employer match, the amount above your employer match. And from there, you can do the college savings for your kids or any other tax deferred thing you might come up with, and then put it in your taxable accounts after that. So that's the summary of the video. Hope you got something out of this, out of my ramblings. If you did, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment. It all helps the algorithms pick up my videos and more people can get this advice and hopefully lead a better life. So until next time, cheers.